When you first saw the 7 candles, you knew. You knew, but any she would have known in the magic of the reflections pulsing across the ceiling of the Elder's chamber. Each flame with its own power to burn. Each flame tied irrevocably to the flow of Parthoros' breath. The 7 flames were the armies of the 7 kings of Parthoros. Circling the candles stood the elders of the She, leaders of an ancient elf race adept in arcane sorcery, and keepers of the tomes of power. From the east came the evil foretold by your forefathers, the 3 serpent riders, guardians of death everlasting. Their forms were shrouded by black cloaks, only their eyes were revealed, sunken with evil, dreadful intensity. As a sign of power, they brought peace to the eastern provinces. Those who believed in the sign created a temple in their honor, and it bore the mark of the crossed trident. Their worshippers were the Order of the Sign, blind followers without will, void of spirit. As the power of the Order grew, even the 7 kings of Parthoros followed like cattle behind them. And after they controlled the great nations, 2 riders left the world. Only the Sparrow, the weakest of them, remained, while his disciples traveled Parthoros, cleansing it in preparation for its descent. Scorned by the other peoples of Parthoros, the She, possessing powers of their own, remained unaffected by the spell of the Riders. The She are now considered the heretics, the unclean, fit only to be wiped from the face of Parthoros. The disciples of the Sparrow conspired with the kings of Parthoros to remove the last lance of apostasy. And while the armies of the 7 nations gathered to destroy the She, the elders convened to discuss the fate of your people. When all voices had spoke against the Order, the 7 elders extinguished the 7 candle flames simultaneously. At that silent instant, a brilliant flash of light came from the east, and the armies that had gathered against you were no more. Drained by their efforts, the elders fell to the floor, listening to the single painful scream echoing from the now scorched battlefield. But then, the forces of the Abyss took their vengeance. The Ether had quaked with the Elders' magic effort, and the curse of the Order followed the trail unerringly to the Elders' conventicle. Suddenly, the foul odor of death came, and the earth opened to engulf the Elders in flames, white bright fire clinging to their flesh, knowingly and eagerly eating each layer of skin. 2 pouring forth from the earth like squirming maggots came the forces of evil, both beast and undead. They attacked in hordes like packs of dogs, first surrounding the weakest and biting and clawing their victims to the ground. As each sheep fell, several beasts would gather to chew into their bellies like pigs into slop, their heads often deeply submerged into the gut with the victim's intestines slung half-eaten upon their own squirming bodies. When the day was done, the few remaining She were scattered throughout the land. The Abyss had taken the tomes and artifacts of your people as spoils of their victory. Alone, without weapons, the surviving She would surely perish at the hands of the Order of the Sign. The Elders' destruction of the 7 armies had gone for naught. While the other She had hid, their spirit broken, you thirsted for vengeance and rode east into the wilderness in search of the Sparrow. Now you stand before the city of the damned, its air thick with the stench of rot. Your hate drives you to see these creatures oozing their heart's ichor before you. Beyond these gates, the dead and the creatures of the night writhe in dark corners, their bodies aching for your blood. With luck, some of your people's ancient artifacts can be found hidden amongst the dark passages beyond. For with only a staff as your weapon, the world is surely damned. Welcome to my 100% playthrough of Heretic on the Black Plague Possesses the difficulty, played through Hexen plus Heretic on the Kex Engine. Today, we are going back to where it all began, where it all started on my channel, with the very first game that I played on it. Yes, we are going back to Heretic, but this time, we are going to play on the new port that was released this year, this month, August 2025. So, let us begin, shall we? The first thing we're going to do, of course, is actually set the game up. We are going into the first episode, The City of the Damned. And we are playing on Black Plague Possesses Thee. But, if you're playing along with me, say, if you're doing a continuous marathon of Heretic levels and you want to play all levels like I'm going to do with a wand start, you can press the tab button and select this option to wand start all levels. No equipment will be carried over between levels except for the wand and staff. This setting only persists for the current playthrough. Alternatively, you can use the level select and manually go to each level. You want to select the very hard difficulty because in this port, they are not personalized per game yet. But for the time being, we're going to do it this way. So let us begin with the first level, the docks. So here we are, the first level of Heretic. For what is the third time on my channel, but this time I'm going to treat it as if it was the first ever video of this game. So we are equipped with the Elven Wand, and allow me to show you how it functions by grabbing some ammo for it and meeting our first enemy, the Gargoyle. So those who have played the original Heretic might notice that this weapon fires faster. And indeed it does compared to the original. Even those who have not played Heretic might notice that this weapon fires faster than the pistol in Doom. And indeed it does. And on top of that, it has its own ammo supply. So on top of a faster fire rate, more damage done by default by that alone, on top of actually having higher damage in general, it is superior to the pistol from Doom. But anyways, let's go up this way after we killed all the gargoyles in the previous area to kill more gargoyles. Press this button using the interact key and grabbing the yellow key. Now, our ammo is limited to 100, but there are ways around that. But anyways, let's open this up. Yes, this part, to get a secret with a gargoyle guarding a silver shield. And now, if you see these sort of Quetzalcoatl kind of individuals holding a spear above their heads, they usually indicate that this is a door you can open with a key. And here's a new enemy, the Golem. There's one here. There's a gargoyle to the left, and another golem going up the stairs. So let's get rid of all of them with R1 and go down to find more golems. Now with these guys out of the way, we can open this door up. We can snipe this fellow. If you want perfect accuracy, like the pistol in Doom, you can wait for the animation to finish, and you will usually get perfect accuracy with your Elven Wand, provided you can aim it. If you're using a crosshair, it'll usually be yellow to show you that the enemy is in your sights and able to be shot at with the auto aim. But anyways, let's open this up. Yes, that is a door. Although you just need to step near it to open it up. There are two golems here guarding the gauntlets of the Necromancer. And allow me to show you how this works by going into this area and zapping these golems. Yes, sirree, they are dead as hell now. Let's do the same with these fellows. Yes. If you need more ammo, and if you took any damage, you can take these crystal vials and these wand crystals. Now the crystal vials, whenever you pick them up, they will be used instantly, but there are items in the game that you will have to activate manually if you want to get the best out of them. Anyways, let's go into this area. Deal with this golem. Let's dedicate a kill with each weapon. Just for the fun of it. Because there's also 2 gargoyles here as well. One of them comes from out here, which we'll check out later. Yeah, you don't show an outdoor area in a video game like this with items out there unless you can go there. Anyways, we are going up the stairway, but instead of pressing this button which would open this door, which has a texture to show that it is only openable by switches or other mechanics. You cannot open this manually by going up and humping the door. No sorry bub. You have to press this button. Before we do that, we're gonna open this up to meet a gargoyle. Another gargoyle will attempt to prevent you from getting this pickup, the ethereal crossbow. And something that is different about the ethereal crossbow from the original release is that it shoots 5 arrows as opposed to 3. 1 big one and 4 little ones. Let me show you how it works. Yeah, like that. This weapon is effectively the shotgun of Heretic. And in this version, it fires slower, but it deals more damage per shot by default. Anyways, let's push this button. And look, there are gargoyles in the door that opened up by us pressing a switch. I'm going to demonstrate that perfect aim. Yeah, see? You wait for the animation to finish, and you're set. But instead of going down there and grabbing the arrows, we're going to go into here, and you saw me pick up this item right here, the Tome of Power. It will temporarily buff all weapons, including the crossbow, and including the Elven Wand, which I'll probably show in another video, but for now, we're going on a tome rampage with the crossbow, and immediately shooting. The instant we go into the portal, into the secret area, yes, here's a new enemy, the Undead Warrior. Let's destroy both of them to grab the arrows and a bag of holding. And if you took any damage in this encounter, you can grab any of these crystal vials. Like I said, they will be used immediately. Items such as the Tome of Power that I just picked up and used, you have to activate it manually. But let's also go into this area, finally, and kill these 3 golems. Go up the stairway that is raised whenever you step into the wooden area, and let's fight this Undead Warrior. Yes! And let's open this door up. And here's another golem, the last enemy of the map. He's guarding the exit. Now, if you want to go back and grab any ammunition, you can now do that now that you have a bag of holding, because the default limit for your Elven Wand is 100 and your crossbow 30. But with the bag of holding, it is doubled, which means I can carry up to 60 arrows if I so wished, and if this map had that many arrows. But anyways, we have gotten all the kills, all the secrets. You can check by pressing tab by default and checking the top left to see how many kills, secrets, and even items that you have collected on the map. And since we got 100% of everything, we are done. And that is the docks. I took my precious little time explaining all the little doohickeys that they added in this new port. One, because I reckon there will be some new people who have never played Heretic before, and 2, there will be people who have played Heretic before, but have not seen this port yet, and are wondering about all the little fine changes they did. Well, To summarize it for the latter, if you ever played a mod called The Wayfarer's Tome, which I did on my channel in 2020, a lot of the changes were implemented from that mod into this new release. So there are differences here and there that are very subtle. I think some sounds are different here and there, but a lot of the changes that were implemented in the Wayfarer's Tome were added to this re-release. So I'll explain them whenever I get the opportunity to. And hopefully we'll have a lot of fun on the way there. Now, this level is relatively unchanged from its original release. Now, there will be more levels coming up in which there are completely different textures all over the place, and new textures, old textures used in different ways, and other things like that. But this one is relatively unscathed regarding those changes. The most changes that I can recall that actually happened to this level were related to lighting, I believe. Yeah, a few sectors were separated and like darkened here and there, and lightened and so on and so forth. And I think some other textures were slightly adjusted here and there as well. But aside from that, nothing else of the layout was drastically altered. Some things will be later on in the playthrough. But with all that said and done, we are finished with the docks. And in the next episode, we will be going to the dungeons. So until next time, I'll see you when I see ya. So, see ya!